Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Lifestyles, Laughs, and Loans. Really excited to have the opportunity to introduce Nicole Langill to you. Ms. Nicole here is one of the most analytical realtors that I know. If you had to give sellers one piece of advice, I want the unfiltered version advice, what would it be right now? How do you think attention to detail separates the good agents from the great ones?
Being able to take in everything and know what the right steps are gonna be.
What's the craziest thing that you've ever seen at a showing?
I think the craziest thing that I ever saw was a completely vacant house, except for in the garage, there was a 7-foot,
Last bit of advice for buyers or sellers thinking about jumping into the market right now.
You have to look at the numbers and take your emotion out of it.
Welcome back, guys, to another episode of Lifestyles, Laughs, and Loans. I'm excited to bring you this great episode today. I've got a special guest here, and this guest today probably is more responsible for helping more people and pets find homes in Vegas than most agents combined. So really excited to help and have the opportunity to introduce Nicole Langill to you. Nicole from Century 21 Americana. Thank you for being on the show today.
Well, thanks for having me, Joshua. I know we've been talking about this for a while, so I'm glad we made it work.
It's been a journey to get here. I'm excited to kind of talk. Being a realtor, animal rescue advocate, and honestly, just one of a good human that's in this industry and business and in the city. I'm really honored to have you on here today.
Thank you.
Nicole, how have you been?
Been doing good. Surviving summer, although it hasn't been too hot. We've only had a few really hot days.
And you just got back from holiday. Where'd you go?
It wasn't actually holiday. I was at a real estate conference in Traverse City, Michigan, bettering my business and education to better help my clients.
I guess I was talking about the prior trip.
I travel a lot. Sorry.
And we'll get into why we call it holiday. I was kind of being funny with her. For all of us Americans, vacation, but definitely. Where'd you guys just come back from?
So we were in the UK visiting some family and friends, and then did a transatlantic cruise from England to New York.
Awesome, amazing. Mm-hmm. And have you gotten any animals home lately?
Yeah, well, so for those who don't know, I sell real estate. I love to help people and animals find homes, and I do a lot of volunteer work with the Nevada SPCA, which is the original no-kilter shelter in the state of Nevada, and it's an excellent organization that I like to be involved with.
So guys, if you're looking for a new pet, SPCA can help you guys out with that. They're looking for beautiful homes for their wonderful little fur babies, and Miss Nicole is involved in helping out with that, along with her amazing husband, Craig.
Yeah, my husband, Craig.
So it's kind of a joint effort.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, my husband is the board president, and I do have to correct you. It is Nevada SPCA. They're not affiliated with the actual SPCA.
Thank you for that correction. Nevada SPCA for all of us Las Vegas, Clark County area folks. And so that's going to kind of segue me into my next question, that your husband's involved. What's it like with having a British husband and all these pets these days?
For me personally, it's just everyday life. A lot of people maybe don't believe me. I don't hear an accent from him. I don't hear British accents, but I live with it. But it's really great. We're both very passionate about helping animals. We often say that animals are better than people. But it is great. We've got both of our animals are from the Nevada SPCA. Before he even joined the board, that's where we've always gone for our shelter animals. And when we moved here, that was where we went as well.
I love that. Well, shout out to Craig. He's to me, one of the geniuses of life. I love having conversation with him. So always fun to bring him up. And so how are you surviving this Vegas summer? What is it, 108 degrees today?
What is it today?
Thank goodness.
105.
105 right now. Okay, my car was a little off, but thank goodness we're inside with air conditioning right now.
Well, that's the way people survive it. It's the same as I grew up in Chicago, and you had 6 months of winter, so you would go from a heated house to a heated car to a heated building. Here, it's the exact opposite. You have maybe a month of unbearable, but you go from an air-conditioned house to an air-conditioned car to an air-conditioned building, or the lake or the pool or wherever.
So you're one of two people. Do you pre-start your car and let the air conditioning cool it off, or do you get in your car and sweat and then it finally gets cool by the time you get to the spot you're going?
I unfortunately am the second one because I don't have remote start on my car. If we're in my husband's car, it's remote start and it's cooled off before we get into it.
Okay, so Craig's the planner. You're kind of just go with the flow and you just deal with that heat, that hot car until you get to you notice how like it doesn't cool off for like 20 minutes until you get to where you're driving.
I know, absolutely.
And then you're like, do I turn it off or do I leave it running? No.
I usually leave it running.
Well, for people who don't know, I just want to kind of segue into this. How did you get into real estate, and were you always Vegas based?
No, I was not always Vegas based. My family moved here in '98, and I've lived here on and off since then. I was licensed in Chicago back when I lived there, but I never did anything with it. And then in 2012, I moved to Dubai, and I started selling real estate there in 2013.
Real estate in Dubai.
Yes.
What a world. I'm always fascinated by this. You're like, you never will let me live this down, Joshua. You always talk about it. And you talked a little bit about how it's just a very fast pace there and a lot more cash transactions, I guess. There's not really financing there.
So there is financing, but it is a lot of it is cash. I can't speak for now. I haven't stayed on top of the statistics since I've left in 2017. But they do actually have mortgage options there as well. What I do know is as an expat, you have to put a minimum of 20% down. And also one thing that they do there, which I'm shocked they don't do here and I think they should, is you have to take a life insurance policy against the mortgage.
Genius.
It is.
I love that.
And I think everybody should do that here because a lot of unfortunate things happen to people. And if you have that life insurance policy on it, one thing you don't have to worry about, should there be a death in the family, is how are you going to pay for the mortgage?
So keynote guys, if you're a homeowner and you don't have a life insurance policy, you might want to look at getting some coverage to cover that mortgage so you can leave that wonderful asset to your heirs. If you're thinking about buying a home, might want to consider some life insurance budget. I always recommend two things when buying a home on finance side. I'm like, hey, I handle your financing. However, you're going to want to protect yourself. You're going to want to get a trust and you're going to want to get some life insurance. They're not gimmicks. They're just things to protect your assets because this is an asset, even though you may have a little bit of a liability tied to it. So really great fact there. Do you ever feel like finding homes for people and finding homes for pets is kind of the same job?
Yes and no. It's finding a home for a person is, there's obviously a lot more involved in it than finding a home for a pet. But at the end of the day, everybody wants somewhere that is their own. And I'd like to believe that pets also have that understanding. They know where their house is. They know when they're going home. When we take our dog with us somewhere, the moment we pull into the street that gets us into our neighborhood, she knows where she is. So it's not the same, but it's the same reward.
But you'll see when you're looking with buyers to go find a home and they find that one, you can kind of see that in their eye, like, oh, that's the one they want. And then what you're saying is what I hear is that you see the same similarity with a pet when they find their owner. It's like, yeah, that one's definitely going home to this owner today.
Yeah,
that's an awesome identification.
That's an easier way to say it. Yes.
I love that. That's beautiful. And so some real talk, the market, common mistakes. We're going to have a little bit of fun with this. Are you ready?
Always.
I'm real excited about the state of the market. I think the state of the market is a buy now scenario. I think we're officially in a buyer's market. I know a lot of buyers are holding out for rate drops and, we've got kind of a split Fed that's kind of like, oh, we're going to wait. So we're not going to see any Fed drops probably until September. However, with the recent changes in the market, we've seen some inventory increases. What's inventories at today as of, what is this today, July 8th, 9th?
Today's the 10th, actually.
10th,
July
days are
10th.
sliding by.
I know.
What is the inventory as of July 10th?
Today we are at 10,402 total listings. So, as my manager likes to say, from outhouse to castle. For total available single family residents, we're at 6,000, just over 6,400.
Okay.
And for total under 540,000, which is the FHA loan limit, obviously, as you know, we are at just over 3,500.
That's beautiful. And so 540,000 sales price. She mentioned the word FHA. For anybody that doesn't know what that is, that's 3.5% down payment to get into your home. We've got some amazing opportunities where we can get you down payment for $13,000 of assistance. We do add some solar benefits in there so we can eliminate these high power bills during this hot summer. Couple benefits there. We put the solar on for you at the time of closing, so you have no UCCs, which are liens on title. Your solar unit is owned free and clear, and it kind of adds a little bit of appreciation to the value of your home right off the get-go. Plus, you get $13,000 towards your down payment. So in a buyer's market like this, we would combine that $13,000 with a seller credit, which Nicole can easily negotiate in a market like this. And that's really the win-win, because let's say the feds do drop the rate, and let's say that the rates come down another half a point. Well, that's going to open up a lot of doors for a lot of consumers, and it's going to increase competition. And when competition comes into the market, we see the terms buyer's market shift into maybe more of a balanced market or even a seller's market. And so instead of you getting the $13,000 incentive, which will probably still be there, you're not going to get that seller credit. And I've seen credits $16,000, $18,000, $22,000 lately at that sales price point, which is amazing. Able to look at getting people, a point below market on a temporary buy down. Just got somebody 4.99 for the first 2 years on a FHA loan.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So it was really a beautiful scenario for them. Really was able to get them. I think they're saving like $289 a month for the first 2 years. And that was just a portion of that seller credit. The rest of it went towards the closing costs. So really the buyer came in with only their down payment. They didn't want solar, so they came in with their own money. So lots of good opportunity in the market. Also, we kind of looked at, price points at $480 and even a little bit lower. There is an amazing 1% down program in the market right now. How many times have you seen that?
I don't think I ever have.
And so we're going to shift over to the conventional side of loans, because we just talked about FHA. And conventional loan limits, we have a income limit here in Clark County, but this is all across the nation. So if you want more information about this program, reach out to me. I can put you in contact if I'm not licensed in that state, because I am licensed in multiple states. But literally, it's a 3% down conventional loan. The buyer comes in with 1%, and the 2% down payment is given to them. That's called instant equity.
Do they have to pay that 2% back?
No, given to them. Here you go. Enjoy it. You fit inside of the income limits of Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac's median income limit, which is $74,650 here in Clark County.
Okay.
They can get up to 2% up to $350,000 or $370,000, I think it is. So, some people could get, $7,400 towards down payment and have that as instant equity for their home. Because, projections are really amazing. I was looking at projections the other day, and people are like, I was literally getting my hair cut the other day, and somebody was like, I have a question for you. And here I am trying to get my hair cut. And, everybody in the shop knows that I do loans, and they're like, so do you think it's a good time to buy a house right now? And I'm like, well, let's look at it. He's like, well, I could buy, but it's going to be $700 more than if I could rent. And I'm like, well, what happens when you rent for 10 years and what do you get in return?
Yeah.
Zero.
I have keyboard warrior conversations on Reddit about that all the time. People constantly on there saying, well, I can rent for a lot less. And yes, absolutely. Right now you can. But in 5 or 10 years, that lot less is going to be a lot more than if you had locked in a mortgage today.
And that I broke it down the numbers. I was like $2,500 times 10 years. What are we looking at? $300,000 you're going to spend in rent. And if you get to keep that rent amount for that long term, because we know in 3 to 5 years from now, rents are going to probably be 25% higher, just like they're 25% higher than what they were 5 years ago, called the Californication of Las Vegas.
Yeah.
And we've got the high-speed train coming. A lot of people don't know about the 68-mile boring loop that's being installed right now. So I mean, there's gonna be 55 stops. We're literally gonna have a mass transit system in Las Vegas for the first time in history.
I can't believe we don't have one yet. That's just fascinating.
Mind blowing. And so I'm like, I calculated that number. I'm like, and let's just say you had a 10% increase in your rents, which to me was like a low ball. And then I flipped the coin and I was like, so you lock in your loan payment at $700 more a month. You know, we look at that $3,200, you know, you're spending, $390,000 in the first 10 years. However, rates drop in the next year or two, and I refinance you and save you $250 to $300 a month, which is real numbers because it's happened this year. People I closed last year, I refinanced when the rates dropped this year, and they're saving $293, $324, you know, really great numbers. And so I was like, okay, you're $390 in, and that house went from $500,000 to $1 million. And I mean, the projections, even in the next 5 years, conservative projections, I'll give you my projection, but conservative projections are that you're going to gain anywhere from $96,000 to $100,000 on a $500,000 purchase in 5 years.
Yep.
That's a great return on your money and investment if you look at it.
Absolutely.
And my projection, I think what's $500,000 because of the Californication, what's $500,000 in Las Vegas, and because we're such a deal. I mean, our houses are cheaper than Boise, Idaho, Phoenix. Like, I'm not talking, we don't have to go to the main metropolis areas. Like, we're really at a discount still. I really think we're going to be at $750 to $780 on a $500,000 house in 5 years. And I really think we could see doubling. I mean, if you statistically look at the generations, every 10 years since 1972, we've seen tripling or doubling over and over and over again. So,
well, I mean, everybody knows we're a city that's growing. We're still growing. There's so much more space to expand. And we've only got so much supply. The builders they're not building as rapidly as they did back in the early 2000s. And on top of that, they're not building affordable housing. So what we have for affordable housing, when you're talking about this 500,000 price point, we're going to start losing that altogether. And I mean, it's just, as prices increase, it's natural that the real estate will as well.
And Californians are laughing at us. They can sell their $900,000 house, their $1.1 million house in LA, in San Diego, and they can literally move here and buy a bigger house at $500,000 to $550,000, $600,000. So, I mean, we're literally, out of such a discount. And then I look at it, and have you seen the apartments that have been going up around here?
Apartments, and we need to clarify, in Vegas, apartments and condos are two different things. Apartments is owned by a corporation and you go and rent there. A condo is owned by individuals who all live within the same building. Because if you're watching this from a different city or you're coming here from a different city, they can be interchangeable in some cities.
Great point.
So.
Great point. And so these apartments that are corporate owned, I mean, literally right down the street from my house, which was supposed to be like retail shop division, it's got a Smith's, TJ Maxx, Home One, like Big Five. And there were supposed to be like more stores that opened up, and they built a 3-story apartment complex. And so they're building, you know, multifamily or mass housing at this rate. And you talked about affordable housing or the affordable rate. They're charging rents that are the same rents in San Diego or LA for these 2-bedroom, 3-bedroom apartments right now here in Las Vegas.
Yeah. Well, it's luxury living. That's how they're selling it.
And it's mind blowing because it is brand new. It's beautiful. You don't own it though.
Nope.
And if you take the same amount of money that you'd be spending in this apartment and go buy one of the small single family residences,
or even a townhome,
hold on to it for the next 10 years, you're going to be in such a dynamically wealthier, better position than you are today.
Absolutely.
And so I really always bring that up, how much Vegas is growing and how much apartment expansion has been happening here, corporate apartment expansion, because we really don't have any condo projects being built right now where they're selling off the condos. Now, we did see a surge in 2008 where a lot of these apartments were built. And I think you were here then because you went to Dubai in 2012. And we had this huge condo conversion segue where a lot of the apartments were built, wanted to one-off sell them because the prices got so high. I'm wondering if some of that's going to happen here in the near future.
You know, who knows, to be honest. As you know, there were a lot of regulations that were put into place after 2008 and after the crash where getting financing on condos can be more difficult than a townhome or a single family. So I guess we would have to wait and see if lending regulations change to make it easier to lend on those.
I mean, they kind of have already, in my opinion. I mean, we've brought back FHA spot approvals. It's a great point. FHA spot approval means we can do a one-off in that neighborhood instead of not having to have the whole project approved. It does have to fit some pretty strenuous requirements. However, I mean, you can still do conventional financing in a lot of these properties that may not be Fannie Mae approved either, just because they meet that lender questionnaire thing. So I've done a lot of condos. I like to take the time on that, but it does take some inspections that can cost some extra money for buyers. And you get stuck there. So you've been posting some helpful stuff lately.
Thank you.
Like, don't call the listing agent, red flag.
Oh my gosh.
Can we talk about that?
I was looking through some listings for a client of mine, and as any agent should, read the agent remarks before you start reaching out to do anything. And on one particular listing I was looking at, the first line, maybe not the first line, but one of the things in the agent remarks said, do not call the listing agent. There was nothing on who to contact, on how to get answers, nothing. And these are what some agents in the Valley are doing. How do you schedule? No, it had also been on the market. I don't remember. In the video I said it had been on the market for something like 184 days. Well, of course it has.
Another red flag.
Yeah, another red flag. And the photos were just like taken with an iPhone, I assume, as well. And the house was $750,000. I mean...
So that's why you need to have a buyer's agent and not necessarily call the listing agent, because one, you might not get a call back. And two, you can give them that professional recommendation of like, hey, this house has been on the market for a long time, kind of a concern. I can't get in touch with the listing agent. How about we go look at option 2, 3, or 4? Because these agents returned my call. The properties have been on the market less than 60 days. Because honestly, most listings aren't lasting more than 30 days in this market, would you say, if they're underneath 800,000? Or maybe stretching to 45 days right now?
I should have looked this one up too. No,
okay.
I think we're creeping up to like 50.
50. So we're kind of that 30 to 60 window, which is setting a little bit more expectation, and sellers, becoming a little bit more motivated, which is also why it's becoming more of a buyer's market, just not only because of inventory. So topic number 2, a little bit longer to sell your house, more motivated sellers. What's the biggest mistake that you see sellers making right now?
Pricing high to open for negotiations instead of pricing at the market.
So kind of just not accepting the fact that the value of their home is here. They kind of want to squeeze that juice a little bit and see if they can get an extra $25,000, $30,000. And honestly, it just kind of backfires.
Yeah, it's I mean, hold on. I actually do have this stuff written down. So with pricing high, because oftentimes, and almost every single seller that I meet with says the same thing. Well, let's go high. We'll open room for negotiation. And what that actually does is, according to NAR, the National Association of Realtors, you can't get specific on these numbers because you can't really tell, but if you price high and do those price decreases, you sell at 88% of what the original sales price was. Whereas if you price it correctly, you're within 97% of that sales price. And with information from Zillow as well, what they say is if you're overpriced, you're gonna spend twice as long on the market as if you started being priced correctly to begin with.
So definitely recommendations for sellers. Take the real estate agent's advice. They have a lot of great tools, especially Miss Nicole here is one of the most analytical realtors that I know. She's going to give you the facts. She's going to have back up her research, and I love that about her. That's interesting. If you list your house what it's worth, you get close to 97% of that number. But if you list your house above what you should have listed at, you end up at 88% of what you should have listed it at.
Yeah.
So you're really losing money to try to get more money out of the property.
Yeah.
In today's world, I mean, the data that we can pull online, CoreLogic, Zillow, the CMAs that can be gotten, I mean, we can usually get within dollars of a listing price. Now, obviously, that's based on what some upgrades might be done, and that's why you like to go visit the property. How often do you take a listing where you don't go to the property ahead of time?
I've never done that. But I am that person. I'm very visual. I'm very hands-on. So I want to actually see it in person.
Beautiful.
To really get in and know the information to make sure that we are pricing it correctly.
And have you been noticing this? Like, people have been trying to list houses, like just send the listing agreement to the client, have them sign, and not even go to the property? Because I've heard of some of these rumors, and it's like red flag. Like, get a real estate agent that wants to show up and come to your front door and talk to you.
Yeah.
So inventories are shifting, prices are weird. How do you help clients stay realistic without scaring them off?
You know, a lot of it, as you mentioned, just showing the data. It's, you can't, numbers don't lie. And if you find a way, and I know not everybody is as analytical as I am, and so finding a way to maybe that person who's not, to still communicate and show them the actual data. That's really all you can do.
And then honestly, you make such great negotiations. It's like when you get an accepted offer, I'm like 90% sure as a lender that you're going to close. Like, we're going to close. And I love that. I love that feeling. Like, when I'm like, yes, Nicole just got an accepted contract. This is going to be a great deal. Whereas, like, I could get a contract from someone else and I'm like, what did you get this number? Like, we're going to have an issue with the appraisal.
Yeah.
But I don't even want to tell them that half the time. So I'm like, oh, here we go for the roller coaster. And, you know, of course, I see the appraisal is going to come in short from the start. It comes in short. Renegotiations happen. Closing cost credits get cut. And to me, it's just like, if we can get that right from the start, come in with the right numbers, get the most we can get for a seller credit, which that's, to me, like one of the best things that happen in this market right now is buyers can get free money from sellers. That essentially means you come in with less money out of pocket. And I just don't know how anybody could be scared with the fact that they could come in with little to nothing, 3 to 5% down out of their pocket, have their closing costs covered, and be in a home that's going to build equity 20, 30% over the next 5 years, maybe even 50%, maybe 100% in 10 years. Just lots of good opportunity based on data.
Absolutely. One of the recent videos that I just posted was actually for sellers taking a page out of builders, because builders offer incentives, they offer credits, they offer all of these things. They don't necessarily have to drop the price, but they're giving something up to get their product sold. And I think a lot of sellers are either on the fence about giving credits. They maybe don't understand it fully, but at the end of the day, giving those credits to help open up the pool of buyers for your property means that you're likely to sell for a higher price, but you just have to give up a little bit in order to make that happen.
So sellers should think more like the builders, be more aggressive, be willing to give up the seller credit to the buyer to help move on their property. And that's really a difference of a motivated seller versus a non-motivated seller, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
And so that segs me into, like, you know, the next thing is like, one of the things I've noticed is that you actually check on vacant listings, plants, dust, all that. Why is that so important?
Well, because with a listing, as the agent, our job is to make sure that that property showcases the best that it can. And if something has been sitting vacant, as we talked, days on market here has gone up. So if something's vacant, it's still going to have the normal things that we have here in the valley. You're going to have dust because it's windy and nothing is completely airtight. There's going to be little bugs that get in. And if somebody's left some plants at the house that, or, you know, because it could be just an out of town seller, but they've still got some plants there. These things have to be done in order to make sure that everything, because you don't want to I don't want to walk into a house with a client and see a dead plant bent over and dust everywhere and dirt, because then you just think
150 flies flying around the room.
Absolutely. Because
have you seen that?
I've not seen that.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
I've seen a lot of dead flies on the floor.
Well, at least they have bug spray.
Yeah.
That's great. So how do you think attention to detail separates the good agents from the great ones?
We are in an industry where you have to listen to the people you're talking to. You have to notice the things that are around. You have to go and see other properties to know how something compares to something else. And if you aren't paying attention to those little things, it really is, as you said, the difference between a good and a great agent. Just being able to take in everything and know what the right steps are going to be in order to help your client, whether it's buying or selling, get what they want.
Love that. So know the area,
Mm-hmm.
know what your competition is.
Yeah.
Don't skip the steps.
Don't.
I mean, you have a 7-step process. If you skip number 3, that's going to be the difference of that client experience of, them really having a great experience versus an okay experience. Yeah. And it's also going to cost time and energy, right, that you could skip. So love that. If you had to give sellers one piece of advice, and we might have covered on this, but I want the unfiltered version advice, what would it be right now?
All right. So my one piece of unfiltered advice for sellers is nobody cares about the memories that you have made in your house. The market doesn't care. Buyers don't care. Appraisers don't care. None of your opinions on what your house sells for matters. It's everything else. As I said, the buyers, the market, the appraiser. What your neighbor's house sold for 6 months ago is meaningless. You have to look at the numbers and take your emotion out of it.
And with that, do you feel like taking little Johnny's pictures down off the wall, or taking down your religious belief items or your political belief items? I mean, to me, I feel like the more houses that get decluttered, like pot up your house with your personal belongings and make it look like a hotel.
Yep.
In a sense, like have your basics, but really like put away who you are in a pod for your move so that people come into the house and see themselves there.
Yeah. I mean, no, let's be honest. You can leave up any political stuff you want because everybody's in complete agreement on politics these days. So, but no, I am actually a big fan of decluttering, treating it like it is constantly a show home as a seller. And I understand maybe you don't want to take all of your personal stuff down. Put a little frame next to your bed or on the TV stand or something where you can still look at some of the photos, but just know you can put them away.
Good point. That's a really good point.
Because again, days on market has gone up. So you don't want your house to feel clinical. You still want it to feel like you, but you want to also make it really inviting and a blank slate to anybody who's coming in to look at it.
Great pieces of information. Great advice. I love to hear that. So we're going to move into some Vegas real estate stories. This is going to be a little bit of a fun part.
Okay.
What's the craziest thing that you've ever seen at a showing? And I always ask this question, so I'm really interested to hear yours.
Okay, so I think the craziest thing that I ever saw was a completely vacant house, except for in the garage, there was a 7-foot bear that I don't know why it hadn't been moved.
Like stuffed bear?
Well, not stuffed, it was taxidermied.
Okay.
So it was like a real life bear that was taxidermied. And it was the only thing in the house. And it was, I don't know if that was the craziest thing, but it was just so weird.
It just spooked you out a little bit. You walk out in the garage and it's just like, rawr.
Yeah, well then me and my clients instantly turned it into a photo shoot, but it was just completely unexpected.
So you kind of took advantage of the moment. That's great to hear. Give me a deal that fell apart, but you somehow were able to save it.
Okay, and I swear this isn't just because it's you I'm talking to. This is the story that I tell people all the time when I talk about how awesome you are as a lender.
All right, thank you.
I was working with a client who was going to purchase a condo. And the previous lender that she was working with said that they couldn't, and it was FHA, and said that they weren't able to do it. And we had already had the offer accepted because they had the pre-approval and said that they could. there was a conventional loan that closed about 30 days prior to this. So we knew a mortgage was possible in this community. And as soon as the lender turned around and said, no, we can't do this, I told the buyer, calm down. I'm going to call my guy. I'm going to call Joshua. And I phoned you. You took a look at everything and said, well, we can do a spot approval. That's the first time I learned about a spot approval as well. And lo and behold, you came in, I want to say, and with FHA, this was phenomenal. Within 15 days, it might have even been 11, you completely stepped up, saved the deal, and she was able to close. And she's still there today, and she loves that community.
Well, that is an amazing story. I'm very grateful to be a part of it. Didn't
Yeah.
expect that. Very humble to have that trust from you. So thank you so much. And yes, 11, 15-day closings happen all the time with me. If you're a realtor watching the show, you can either start your deal with me or you can bring it to me to save it. I'm going to get it done fast. If you're a buyer, that's another reason why you want to work with me. How fast do you want to get your keys? If you're in contract, do you want your keys fast or do you want them a couple weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks from now?
Yep.
But that's really, I think I know who that is, and that's an awesome story. She's probably still very happy in her home.
Yeah.
So the next question, a client story that made you love what you do all over again.
I'm going to go to a recent buyers that just closed on a new construction in Cadence. And I first got introduced to them, it was over 2 years ago. They called me and said, my friend told me that I have to call you. And a lot of back and forth. They were moving, lived in California, and they were planning to move, but they needed time to wrap their head around leaving California. Because I don't blame you. I mean, California is gorgeous. If you're living right on the ocean, I get it.
Why wouldn't you want to be there?
Exactly. So it took them about 2 years to really get into moving here. And I started working with them in August of last year, and it was when they're ready, they're ready. Nothing was forced. And we ended up looking at a couple of homes, and they just weren't crazy about any of the resale. And I mean, she just said this to me the other day. She's like, Nicole, I remember the day that you said, let's look at new construction. And they didn't even think that was something they could afford. And we did. We found them a great community in Cadence, and they actually just closed on their home in May of this year. And literally they were bringing in the handyman and everything right before closing so they could start getting him all set up for all of the things that they wanted to do right after they closed. And it just, something like that is...
I love that story.
Yeah.
And a 2-year history. I mean, what building such great rapport. Hopefully it was the sunsets of Las Vegas that sold them. I try to tell people, hey, even though we don't have a beach, we have the most beautiful sunsets.
Our sunsets are literally second to none. They are just the most consistently gorgeous sunsets you're ever going to see.
Absolutely gorgeous. And Cadence, what a beautiful area. They really have developed such a beautiful master plan community in Henderson, Nevada. It's becoming kind of its own little city. It's got parks, and it's got the Smith's that's like a Walmart that has the bar inside the center
that's
of it.
One of the best happy hours in Henderson.
So a bar inside of the center of Smith's, so you can go shopping and stop by the bar. Kind of a funny little story, a little funny tidbit there. So let's just jump right in. As we're getting closer to the end, I'm excited just to kind of touch base with you on a couple of more questions.
Okay.
Top 4 Henderson neighborhoods that you actually would live in.
Okay. South Shore, Paradise Hills, Mission Hills, and technically not Henderson, but I would live in Boulder City.
Okay. And all beautiful areas. Boulder City is just about 7 minutes past Henderson, about 22 minutes from the Las Vegas airport. Very treasure trove little area on the way to Lake Mead. So beautiful area there. Great
and
answers.
no gambling.
No gambling, that's right. Right on the edge and the edge, that's right. So, and great restaurants. I really love going down there to eat.
Such great restaurants.
Delicious. So, top 4 signs an agent actually cares.
They actually listen to you. So many people don't. They are just thinking about what they're going to say next. To say, oh, I'm right, rather than listening to what the person is actually saying. I'm pretty proud of myself that when I'm working with buyers, because I listen to them, I'm usually the person that ends up finding the house that they want that they didn't even know they wanted. So I'm pretty proud about that. That they tell you what they're going to do and then they do what they say.
Follow through.
Because it's really important for sellers and buyers to know what's going to happen. You can't just wing it every single day. As you said, if you've got a 7-step system, you can't skip one of the steps. And to tell them, that makes you accountable for following through.
I'm loving this. This is good stuff right now, guys. This is good stuff.
That they work to find a solution, because we have a lot of unexpected problems come up. And there is always a solution to every issue that you come across. And you just have to have somebody who's willing to actually think about it and find the solution for it. And then, obviously, being honest.
Okay, being honest. So we got listen, follow through, solution-oriented, and someone that's just raw honest, just straightforward with you sometimes. Yeah. Because straightforward is going to be the real.
It is.
I like that. And so the last thing of kind of just jumping into our top 4s, top 4 pet-friendly Vegas spots that you would recommend.
Okay, so Lazy Dog.
Okay.
Really good food. And I think it's all like fresh in-house made as well, which I like. Biscuits and Bourbon on Water Street.
And that's in Henderson.
Henderson, yep.
Pet friendly. Okay.
Pet friendly. Water Street is such a great area, and I'm sure that there's other pet-friendly restaurants there as well. But Biscuits and Bourbon.
They've kind of created the San Diego vibe of Henderson off of Water Street for sure.
Yep. And then Lake Mead.
Okay.
Take your dog swimming at the lake. As long as you can take them on the lake with you if you're going on a boat, with proper precaution and security for them. So a doggy life vest.
Have to have a life vest if you take your dog on the lake. Remember that.
Safety first. And then really any of the many walking trails that we've got in Henderson.
Love that. Great answers there. So where can people connect with you, follow you, and what you're doing in real estate, animal rescue-wise? How can people get a hold of you?
Calling, but I do most of my posting on Instagram. Nicole.Langill to search for me, or you can just look for Nicole Langill, and or phone, email.
And what's your phone number?
702-708-8604. And Facebook, but I don't get notifications on Facebook if I get messages. And so sometimes they will be sitting there for a while. So Instagram and phone and text is really the best.
Love that. So look her up on Instagram, Nicole.Langill. Otherwise, give her a call or a text on her cell phone if you're looking for an agent that's going to listen, follow through, be solution-oriented, and give you honest advice. Last bit of advice for buyers or sellers thinking about jumping into the market right now.
Don't listen entirely to the media. There is a lot of really false information out there right now. And yes, interest rates are high, but high compared to what? Additionally, when looking for a house or deciding if you want to sell to move to your next one, it's not about the interest rate, it's about the payment. So if it's the right time for you to buy or sell, that's really what matters, not what the news is telling you should be doing.
Great advice. Great advice. Well, thank you guys for joining in on another podcast with us. Please like this down, or please share this with a friend if you found some good information on this. And if you're looking to buy a house, you know who to call. Thank you guys.
Bye.